How's it going? My name is Safe, and I've been playing Smite and the jungle role for like 10 years. And I constantly play with newer players, or I have newer players message me on TikTok or YouTube just talking about how they can learn to get better at the jungle role. So I thought I would make a video about who to play in the jungle role if you're kind of new, whether that means you play a lot of the secondary game modes like Arena, Assault, or something like that, and you're kind of wanting to get into Conquest and learn how to play jungle, or if you're just fully new to Smite and want to play jungle, or if you play other roles and you need jungle flex picks so that you can actually queue rank comfortably. And I kind of ended up thinking in my head that I wanted to break it down into 3 separate things that I think beginner junglers need to be good at in order to help you learn the role. And our first character has an example of every single one of those attributes that I wanted to show off. So first we've got Awilix. I think Awilix is a great jungler for new players to pick. She has high mobility with her Suku on her 1. Helps her run around the map very quickly. She has super fast clear, some of the best clear in the game. She's an extremely simple god while being in-depth enough where the difference between a great Awilix player and your first Awilix game is noticeable. So she can teach you a lot about playing around your team with her ult that benefits off of people getting knocked up. But really, the main reason why I picked Awilix is because it makes it easier for you to get around the map and gank and be effective everywhere. The increased mobility and great jungle clear lets you be more proactive around the map without really having to know where you should and shouldn't be on the map. Jungle is a much more mental role than it is mechanical. Of course, you do need to make sure you're hitting your buttons and everything like that, but I would rather have a jungler who knows where to be and why they need to be there than a jungler who hits everything. And Awilix can kind of spoon feed you that ability to always be around because you're super high mobility and your clear is super fast. But the high mobility also makes her safe from getting dove. If you're a new player, sometimes you're just gonna be in the wrong place at the wrong time and you're gonna need a jump to get away, or you're gonna be running away all the time and the added movement speed is gonna help you get away. I also think Awilix is very good against lower skill opponents. So it could really help you in those lower elo games, just to play Awilix and learn it. I personally really enjoy Awilix whenever I'm just trying to grind without much thought. My cat is going crazy. She's one of my most played ranked gods. It's just a fun god to play, very easy, very simple, and deep enough to where she does not get boring. The next god, however, I personally don't think is super fun, but from meeting a lot of lower level junglers, I know that he's extremely popular, and I can see why. Thanatos, I think, is a perfect pick for a lot of younger jungler players. You have a semi-global ult, which is kind of not a trend, but it's relatively common in the jungle. You've got gods like Thanatos and Thor that are very popular that have semi-global ults, but the main reason I picked Thanatos is because he has insane sustain. So if you don't know, Thanatos works every time he kills a minion or a creep or a person, he gets health back. Whenever he hits his 1, he gets health back. This is going to help you stay more active around the map and to kind of offset any stupid damage you might take. You know, we all take stupid damage, it happens all the time. But Thanatos' built-in sustain will help you mitigate how much stupid poke you're taking. He also doesn't have mana, which I don't think is very important in Smite 2 because nobody has mana issues, basically. But it will help if you're sitting there spamming your abilities and stuff. You'll kind of be able to get away with it. And if mana ever does become a relevant stat, you'll have a god that doesn't have mana in your god pool. That's something I tried to factor in going into this, is how important would these gods be in a jungler's god pool, you know, a couple years down the road or hundreds of games down the road once you're actually more comfortable and playing harder, more impact-heavy teamfight gods. You know, you still want to have a Thanatos or a Awilix in your pocket for the pub somp games. And not to say that they're bad gods or anything like that, but they're just not usually high prio in the highest ranked or professional games. So I tried to keep that in mind, and I think our final pick is going to show that off very well. While we're still on Thanatos, I think he's a perfect jungler for people who are new to the game to pick because of his high sustain. He also has very fast clear, He has a movement speed stem, which means an ability that gives him extra movement speed. In his 2, he's got that global ult. A very simple god, but his whole kit kind of stems from hitting your 1. If you're gonna miss your 1, you're gonna lose a lot of fights. And I think that kind of that will help teach newer players the importance of hitting their abilities. It's not a hard ability to hit, so it has a lot of leeway. You're not going to get punished super hard for missing it, because you're not going to miss it every time. It's a very easy ability to hit, but it will kind of teach you how important it is to make sure you hit all your buttons if you're going into a fight. I've got one final god here, and there's a little bit of a stipulation for this god. I think a great jungler for new players to play is Hunbats, specifically Aspect Hunbats, although regular Hunbats is still good and fun and not a very difficult god either. But I think Aspect Hunbats is potentially the easiest jungler in the game and a top 2, top 3 jungler in the game right now. Now, Hunbats isn't always going to be one of the best junglers in the game, but Hunbats is a very consistent god, and over the course of Smite's history has kept relevancy through most of it. Right now, he's just extremely strong, so it's a lot easier to just pick him up and learn. Hunbats has a little bit of what Awilix and Thanatos bring to the table with his high mobility. His clear is a little bit worse, and he has a skill shot kind of in the way that Thanatos does, because Hunbats has his 3, that is a line ability. That's basically the same type of ability, except it does bounce around the enemies. All of these gods will help you learn how to auto-attack cancel and things like that get a little bit more mechanically deep, although I don't think they're really... I mean, come on. It's just pressing an auto-attack after you use an ability. It's not the most difficult concept of all time. But Hunbats does take great advantage of it with his teleport and stuff, so you might be able to learn something from that. But he has extremely high mobility, being able to throw his monkey out to get away if he hits anything while he's being chased. He's got his leap, that's also a slow. Great to get away. The main reason I picked Hunbats is because of his 2 and his ult. This is also why I picked Aspect Hunbats. His 2 is a stun, an AoE stun that can be used to either set yourself up for good damage or set your teammates up. And that, I believe, is the important part of what Hunbats teaches. Hunbats is going to teach you a lot about team fighting and just prioritizing setting people up around your teammates or stunning the enemies so that your teammates can get out. And also, your ult is one of the best teamfight abilities that a jungler has ever had. It's fantastic at setting up for team fights, saving and peeling your teammates, saving or peeling yourself. He teaches you a lot about the macro parts of team fighting, keeping yourself alive and keeping your teammates alive while doing tons and tons of damage anyways. He's also, in my opinion, the most fun god in Smite 2 is Aspect Hunbats. He's super fun. So that does play a part to it also. But yes, he has high mobility, not as good clear, but a lot of setup for team fights and a lot of his own damage so that he kind of can stay safe if it's just you fighting somebody else. He's able to kind of 1v2 while being able to stun both of the people that he's fighting and then jumping away or using his 3 to hit them both at the same time. It's going to teach you a lot about what fights you can and can't take and how to get out of fights that are starting to look really bad. And he's also just really fun. He's my personal favorite god in the game, so I had to give him a shot. Other than Susano, but I think Susano is a very easy god, but slightly more mechanical than the 3 that I have mentioned today. If you're new to the jungle role, go ahead and pick one of these 3 gods, or, you know, pick them all. Play a couple hundred games, then start going into more of the high meta picks. Pick like Thor and Dodgy and stuff like that. Once you're more comfortable with the role and understanding when you should be ganking, how to move around the map, how to play around your team, when to leave, when to stay and sustain, and I think all 3 of these gods are going to teach you that. At the end of the day, Smite is a relatively difficult game, and it takes a long time to master MOBAs in general. Smite can be really rough for new players, but if you're willing to stay stubborn and just pick these gods over and over again and be introspective and willing to learn and play more than everybody else, you will learn how to play the game. You will get better. You will have more fun. I know it can be extremely frustrating for newer players. I've seen it firsthand, but just keep grinding and you will get there. It takes some time. It took everybody some time. It took me some time to get to being a master's level player. I never really thought I was going to get there because of how bad I was, you know, the first couple years of Smite 1. But just keep grinding and you're going to get there. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day. My name is Safe, and let's keep playing Smite. It's a great game. It's beautiful.